right, so we're diving into some Shakespeare today.
Othello. Specifically, we're going to try to get inside the mind of Iago and using the text, figure out, like, how did he become one of the greatest villains ever written?
Yeah, he's a fascinating character, isn't he? Because he's
so evil.
He's so evil, but it's like quiet evil.
Right.
It's not like, he's not running around like, the sword killing everybody. He's got these insidious little manipulations.
The scenes in the words.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he understands the power of words.
Yes.
With a chilling clarity, I think.
Well, and he says that, right? He says,
I am not what I am.
I am not what I am. Right from the beginning, he tells us he's wearing a mask.
Yes.
Chilling. Yeah. So we see that resentment right away in Act 1.
Yes.
He's angry at Othello, feels slighted, passed over for the promotion.
He feels like he deserves that position that Cassio gets.
And then, you've got this, like, poor Roderigo who's just head over heels for Desdemona.
Yes, completely.
And Iago sees that and he's like,
bingo.
Here's my way in.
Here's my pawn.
Let's use this.
Yeah.
So he's already, like, identifying weaknesses.
Oh, absolutely.
And then using them to his advantage.
That's Iago in a nutshell, right?
Yeah.
Find the weakness. Exploit the weakness.
Makes you think, right? Like, how often
very kind.
do we see that?
Yeah.
In our own lives?
Yeah.
Where it's like, someone is using someone else to get what they want.
Giving you that little, dangling that carrot to get you to do what they want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
It is scary.
Because it can happen to any of us, right?
Absolutely. And it's everywhere you look.
But back to Iago.
Okay, back to Iago. He doesn't stop there.
Oh, it does not.
With Roderigo.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He goes after Brabantio.
Oh, he knows exactly how to play Brabantio?
Oh.
His fear.
Fear and prejudice.
Yeah, exactly.
To turn him against Othello.
Yeah, and that whole scene where they wake him up in the middle of the night.
Oh, it's awful.
Talking about, Desdemona being stolen away, witchcraft, and...
Oh, it's
just so powerful.
It's awful, but it's smart.
It is smart. He understands how to manipulate people.
He does.
And it's like, everyone is focused on Othello being deceitful.
Right.
But the real deceiver...
Exactly. It's like we, the audience, we see it.
We know
what's going on.
Yeah.
And it makes it so tense.
Yes.
Because we're just waiting for everyone else to catch up.
Right. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion.
Exactly.
You know it's coming, but you can't look away.
You can't stop it.
Okay. So then Act 2, Iago decides to target Cassio.
All right. So why Cassio? What do you think?
Well, from what I gathered reading this,
yeah,
Iago knows Cassio can't hold his liquor.
He's got a weakness for the drink, right?
Exactly.
Even though he's normally, like, very composed.
Right. Yeah.
Together, yeah.
Yeah. And so Iago uses that.
He does, yeah.
To make him look bad.
Yeah, he orchestrates this whole scenario to make Cassio's drinking seem way worse than it probably is.
Way more out of control than it actually is, yeah.
And then, the worst part.
What's that?
He tells Cassio to go to Desdemona for help.
Ugh. Like to get back in Othello's good graces?
The very last thing you want to do if you're trying to, not arouse suspicion.
It's just so calculated.
Oh, every word out of Iago's mouth is calculated.
Like he's playing chess.
Yes.
And everyone else is playing checkers.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
He is thinking 10 steps ahead.
Right.
While everyone else is just trying to make their next move.
And he's so good at it.
That
you almost have to admire him, You
almost have to admire his skill.
Yes. In a weird way.
Right.
Even though he's using it for evil.
Even though we know he's terrible, awful. Yes.
Okay, so Act 3.
All right, Act 3, what happens?
This is where the handkerchief comes in.
Oh, yes.
Right.
The handkerchief, yes.
Which seems so small.
It seems like such a small thing.
Oh, just a piece of cloth.
Yeah, but in Iago's hands,
exactly,
it becomes this incredibly potent symbol.
Yes, a weapon.
A weapon, exactly.
He manipulates.
Who does he manipulate?
Amelia.
His own wife.
Yeah.
To get it.
To steal it from Desdemona.
He understands the weight that handkerchief carries.
Yes.
The fact that it's a symbol of their love.
Right.
Of Othello's love for Desdemona.
And poor Amelia just caught in the middle.
She's caught between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. She's devoted to Desdemona, but she also loves her husband, so.
Trying to please her husband, yeah.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking, really.
It is. And this is where you start to see...
What do we start to see?
Like the ripple effect
Yeah.
of Iago's lies. Right.
Exactly.
Because it's not just Othello and Desdemona who are affected.
It's everyone around them.
It's like everyone in their orbit.
Exactly. Caught in this web.
Okay, so Iago's got the handkerchief now.
He's got the handkerchief.
And what does he do?
What does he do with it?
He plants it on Cassio.
He does.
Like, the audacity of this guy.
He just takes this object and he turns it into this, like, loaded gun, basically.
Exactly.
And it's pointed right at Othello's heart.
Because Othello's already...
And Othello's already primed, right?
Primed and ready to be suspicious.
Exactly. Because Iago's been whispering in his ear...
For 2 acts?
For 2 acts straight. Planting those seeds of doubt.
Oh, it's masterful, but awful.
Masterful and awful.
So Othello is completely consumed by jealousy at this point.
Completely eaten up with it.
But does Iago stop there?
What do you think?
No, of course not.
No, he doesn't stop there.
He never stops.
He's got to keep going, right? This is where it gets even more interesting.
Oh, yeah. Act 4 is where Iago really goes in for the kill, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely.
He sets up this whole thing with Cassio.
Right.
Like, gets him talking about Bianca.
Right, his actual lover.
Yes. But he does it in a way that makes it sound like they're talking about Desdemona.
Exactly. It's all about, like, how he frames the conversation.
So sneaky.
He knows exactly what to say to make Othello think the worst.
And, of course, Iago makes sure that Othello overhears the whole thing.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Like, conveniently placed within earshot.
Oh, I didn't see you there, sir.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So Othello's, like, completely crushed, right?
Oh, he's devastated.
He completely believes it.
He's so deep in this web of Iago's lies at this point.
She's gone.
That he can't even see straight.
And he's talking about revenge now.
Right.
Like, he wants to kill Desdemona.
Which is the tragic thing, right?
It's so sad.
Because Othello's not, like, an idiot.
No.
He's a smart guy.
He's a general.
He's a general.
Yeah.
He's led armies.
Right.
But Iago understands that even the smartest people can be vulnerable to this kind of manipulation.
Especially when it's playing on your deepest fears.
Exactly. Our insecurities, the things that keep us up at night.
Like, we all have them, right?
We all have them.
And Iago knows how to exploit them.
Exactly.
Oh, and speaking of being exploited.
Oh, no. Who are we talking about?
Poor Rodrigo.
Oh, Rodrigo.
Iago's been playing him this whole time.
Stringing him along. Right.
Yes. Promising him Desdemona if he just,
Just do this one little thing for me.
Yes.
And then she'll be yours.
It'll all be worth it.
Oh, it's heartbreaking.
It is.
Because you know it's never going to happen.
No.
Rodrigo is just a pawn.
Another pawn in his game.
A means to an end.
And a means to a very tragic end.
Well, what happens in Act 5?
Act 5 is just a bloodbath.
It is.
Like, it all comes crashing down. Iago convinces Rodrigo to kill Cassio.
Right.
But it doesn't go according to plan, does it?
Well, and this is where Iago's like,
right.
Okay, I need to take matters into my own hands.
Right.
He's got to clean up this mess that he's made.
Tie up those loose ends.
Exactly.
So he ends up injuring Cassio even worse.
Yep.
And then he kills Rodrigo.
Kills Rodrigo, yeah.
That's awful.
Blooded.
I mean, he doesn't even bat an eye.
No, he doesn't care.
At sacrificing these people.
He doesn't care at all.
Who thought they were in on his plans?
Nope. They were just tools to be used.
It's chilling.
It is chilling.
And then even after all that.
He
still tries to play innocent.
Oh, he's good to the very end.
I know.
When people start figuring things out.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, oh my goodness. I can't believe this is happening.
I'm so shocked.
Like he's putting on an Oscar-worthy performance.
Right. And then, of course, comes the confrontation between Othello and Desdemona.
Oh, that's a tough scene.
It's so hard to watch.
It is.
Because we know she's innocent.
We know she's innocent.
But Othello, so far gone.
He's completely blinded by jealousy at this point.
And you can see it. Like, she's desperate.
Desperate.
She's trying to explain her
She's
game.
trying to make him see.
Yes.
But he doesn't believe her.
No.
And it's heartbreaking.
Because she never stops loving him.
Never stops loving him. Even in her final moments.
True.
She's still trying to protect him.
It's
tragic.
Shakespeare's a genius.
He is a genius.
But he's also brutal.
He doesn't shy away from the dark stuff, does he?
Oh, not at all.
He goes right for it.
Which is what makes it so good.
That's what makes it so real, right?
Right.
It's like, this is human nature.
Yes.
In all its messy, complicated, tragic glory.
But it doesn't end there, does it?
No, because what happens after Desdemona's death?
Yeah.
The lies start to unravel.
Yes. Amelia finally figures out what's been going on.
She sees right through Iago.
And she's furious.
Oh, she's angry.
Like, she could have stayed quiet.
Right. She could have just looked the other way.
But she doesn't. She's brave.
She knows she has to speak out.
Even though it could cost her.
Even though it might cost her everything.
And it does, doesn't it?
It does.
Iago kills her.
He kills his own wife.
His own wife.
To protect his lies.
It's just, I don't know.
What does that tell you?
It's just cold.
About him.
Like,
he doesn't care who he hurts.
No.
Doesn't care who he has to destroy.
As long as he gets what he wants, right?
As long as he wins, yeah.
Which is awful, but then Othello realizes.
It is that moment of realization.
He finally sees what he's done.
The weight of it all just crashes down on him.
And he can't live with it, can he?
How can you live with that kind of guilt?
The knowledge that you were tricked.
Manipulated.
Yeah, into destroying the one person.
The person you love most in the world.
It's Shakespeare at his finest, isn't it?
It's tragic, it's heartbreaking, but it makes you think.
Yeah, it really does.
And Iago, through it all, he doesn't care. No remorse whatsoever.
Like, he enjoys it.
Maybe he does.
This destruction that he's caused.
Maybe that's what makes him so scary.
Yeah.
This emptiness inside of him. Right. The fact that we don't really know why he does it.
That's what I was thinking about, too, you know? Like, when I was reading through all this, I noticed all these different theories about Iago's motives.
Oh, yeah.
Like, is it jealousy? Revenge?
Right, is there something else going on?
Is he just, like, a purely evil being?
We don't really know for sure, do we?
No. Shakespeare never really tells us.
And maybe that's the point.
Ooh, interesting.
Right.
Like, he's the ultimate villain.
He represents that darkness.
The unknown.
The unknowable.
It's creepy.
It's unsettling.
Yeah, unsettling is a good word for it.
Because it makes you realize that there are Iagos in the real world, aren't there?
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe not on such a grand, dramatic scale.
Right.
But those little manipulations.
Yeah, the white lies.
The subtle betrayal.
Those digs.
They happen all the time, don't they?
Every day.
And they could be just as damaging.
So how do we protect ourselves?
We have to be aware.
Okay, I like that.
We have to be paying attention.
Yeah.
Questioning our assumptions.
Not just taking things at face value.
Exactly. Think critically about the information we're given.
Be our own Iago detectives.
In a way, yes.
I love it.
Look for those hidden agendas.
The ulterior motives.
Exactly.
Which is, like you said earlier, knowledge is power.
Absolutely. The more we know, the better equipped we are to deal with these kinds of situations.
So, as we wrap up our deep dive into Othello,
what have we learned today?
I think the message is clear. Stay vigilant, trust your gut, and never underestimate the power of a well-placed question.
Words to live by.
Words to live by.